What I'm about to share with you guys is something that forever changed my life. And after I truly understood this and the reason why it works, everything with girls finally just started to click. Now, many times growing up, there were times where I'd see guys challenge other guys. And during these situations, these guys would pretty much stare at each other, almost like two animals would do before they charge at one another. And little did I know, part of what I was witnessing as I was watching this was actually the key to so many of the problems that I'd been having with girls at the time. And once I figured it out, everything changed. Now, one of the greatest gifts that all of us have as men is the same exact gift that has been given to the natural alphas and sigmas of the world. It's the number one thing that makes them so incredibly desirable and rare. All the guys that I saw when I was younger are the ones who would challenge each other. All of them were not necessarily challenging each other physically, but rather mentally. These men were challenging each other with something called frame. So what is frame? Men who identify as a sigma or alpha male, and even just men who we would call incredibly masculine. All these guys have a unique energy about them, and it's a calm, assertive type of energy. Some guys call it your center, but whatever you want to call it, your ability to understand and hold a masculine frame will completely change your life in the same way that it did mine. Now, in life, there are going to be things that are constantly trying to move us out of our masculine frame. And as long as we are able to hold frame, these things will simply bounce off of us and in the process will make us extremely desirable, particularly when it comes to females. Your masculine frame is such a unique gift, and it's the difference between whether or not you will wind up chasing girls or have girls chasing you. Something that you'll always see in the movies when we're dealing with a masculine character is that no matter what is said to the main character, he never seems to move out of his frame. And the reason why these characters give off such a masculine, cool dude kind of vibe is because they always hold frame. Masculine and feminine are simply two types of energy. Many men can be feminine and many women can be masculine, and it simply depends on their energy. And when you consider the fact that the greatest primal attraction trigger in existence is polarity, it is easy to see why holding a masculine frame and projecting masculine energy is so incredibly important. And what you have to understand about these two energies without getting too deep into it is that feminine energy is reactive while masculine energy is non-reactive. Now, I've talked in previous videos about non-reactivity, and non-reactivity is just another way of describing a man who knows how to hold frame. Ask yourself this: if you're on a battlefield and your life was on the line, are you going to trust your life with a man who is super reactive and freaking out when a tiny little bit of chaos is thrown his way? Or are you going to trust your life with someone who is non-reactive and who appears calm and confident despite the situation they're in? I know that I'm going to trust the guy who is able to hold frame. Our ability as men to hold a masculine frame is like the greatest aphrodisiac on the planet because it is the greatest highlighter of polarity between masculine and feminine energy. In pretty much every situation where a girl unconsciously tests a man that they are interested in, they're testing him to see if he can hold frame. Or in other words, they're not probing him on a personal level, but instead they are probing his masculine frame to see if they can make it crack. Think about your favorite Marvel supervillain, Thanos, or the guy that everybody loves to hate. And while watching this guy on screen, how many of you couldn't help but feel his masculine energy? Many guys don't even pick up on this, but the main reason why Thanos is so intimidating is not because he's really muscular or because he has a crazy masculine jawline. The reason why Thanos is so intimidating is simply because of his non-reactivity, or because of his incredible ability to hold a masculine frame. No matter the situation that he was in, no matter what was being thrown at him, and even while he went through the sacrifice of Gamora, which was needed to obtain the Soul Stone, Thanos never lost his frame. Think about that. This guy had to basically throw his daughter off of a cliff in order to obtain the stones that he needed for the Infinity Gauntlet. This was his purpose. My guy Thanos was simply a man on his purpose. And we can argue whether or not that purpose was for good or evil, but the fact remains. And the point here is that no matter what obstacle was thrown at him, no matter what came his way, Thanos never lost frame. And the one thing that makes a man masculine, and the thing that will cause girls to go absolutely nuts for you, is the simple ability for you to hold frame. Pretty much every time I'm about to record a video for you guys, my dog will start growling and barking at, well, I don't actually know what he barks at, because whenever I go to look, there's nothing there. So whenever this happens, I just think to myself, what would Thanos do? But in all seriousness, how would a man who is able to hold frame handle this situation? And the answer is that he would handle it in a calm and assertive way. The dog barking when I'm trying to record is basically just a way of testing my frame. If I freak out, if I get emotional, if I start yelling, I have effectively failed the test. And my little dog weighing in at about 15 pounds and standing just about a foot off the ground will have effectively penetrated the frame of a grown man. And that, my friends, is a really sad thing. Why do you guys think Caesar the dog whisperer is always talking about calm, assertive energy? Why does he always say that you must be calm and assertive? It's simply because dogs can pick up on masculine energy just like females can. What happens when your dog starts barking and lashing out at another dog while you're walking down the street? What do? Do you panic and you start yelling at him to stop, or do you hold your frame and get him back into a calm, assertive state? When girls suddenly go cold on you, they are simply probing your frame for weakness. When girls, or even other guys for that matter, get emotional and start yelling at you, they are the ones who have stepped out of their masculine frame. Getting emotional, yelling, and freaking out, or being what I would call reactive, these are all feminine behaviors. Holding frame is extremely important for being a man who wants to be seen as very desirable for women, but it's also incredibly important for a man who wants to be respected by other men. The type of man that other men fear and at the same time respect is a man who is able to hold frame. And your ability to do this shows through your behavior. Whenever you go to Walmart and they don't return something and they give you some reason that makes no logical sense, are you gonna start yelling at them and causing a huge scene? Obviously, the answer is going to be no. People will test us all the time. Even our dogs will test us to see if we are able to hold frame. Now, something that you all know is that nervousness turns girls off. Have you ever asked yourself why? The answer, in large part, is because nervousness shows a lack of a masculine frame. When you are nervous, you are being reactive, meaning you are being controlled by your external environment. All of us get nervous at times, and nervous energy is not attractive when it is coming from a male. Think about this. If a girl can throw you off of your frame, or if a girl can make you nervous just by being around you, what does that say about you? What that tells her is that her mere existence is enough to throw you off center. Holding frame doesn't mean that you have to be overly serious all the time. It simply means that you are non-reactive. Guys who have lots of confidence are non-reactive. Girls can say or do whatever they want to these guys, and they are never able to take them out of their masculine frame. What happened to Papa Doc in 8 Mile after Eminem whooped him during the prior freestyle? Papa Doc was, as they would say, so shook that he lost his frame. He was so moved off of his center that he didn't even attempt to fight back during the freestyle, and he simply gave up. When some jealous guy is shouting things at you, he wants to see if you're gonna get emotional or become reactive, and he wants to see if he can get you to step out of your frame. When all the paparazzi wouldn't leave Kanye alone, he lost frame, got emotional, started yelling, and then trying to fight them. And then what happened as a result of this? All that happened was that more paparazzi started doing the same exact thing, and by becoming reactive and stepping out of his frame, Kanye made the exact problem that was making him angry in the first place even worse. When other people insult you or do things in a way that is trying to get a reaction out of you, they're trying to see if you will get defensive and freak out, or if you will remain calm, assertive, and hold frame. Even animals test us to see if we will hold frame, and if we do, they will respect us, and if we don't, then they will lose respect for us. When girls test you, or they try to move you off center, and you pass these tests by holding your masculine frame, they will not only respect you, but they will also instantly become more attracted to you. Holding frame is simply being calm, assertive, and most importantly, non-reactive. This means that as strong, masculine men with a strong frame, nothing in the external world should be able to take us out of our frame, or move us off center, or cause us to panic or freak out or become defensive. And the best way by far to build and maintain your own masculine frame, which is one of the greatest gifts that we have as men, is to plunge yourself into chaotic situations and practice keeping calm, collected, and assertive while facing uncertainty, or while facing these chaotic situations. Or if all of that fails, just think to yourself, what would Thanos do? If you guys start doing this, you will be completely blown away by how girls start to treat you differently. And it truly does have the potential to change your life in the same way that it changed mine. And with that said, until next time, thank you guys so much for watching.